And there's lots of news over at TKO. There's a lot of things happening over there. You got the UFC with a crazy deal going to Paramount. And then, of course, WWE going to ESPN. Can you imagine that, guys? A show just picking up and just like having to go to ESPN.
Yeah, what's that like?
That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll find out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, kind of break all that down for us a little bit. I think UFC got paid what, $7.7 billion or something insane like that.
Billion.
What does it mean, Ariel? We're lost in the sauce.
Yo, what a time. As you said, what a time for TKO, because in addition to all of that, and I'll get to all of that, they also have their first boxing show going down September 13th in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium on Netflix, of all places, Canelo Alvarez against Terrence Crawford. So TKO really is the center of the combat sports universe. Yeah, that UFC deal, they start, last week with the WWE deal. No one saw this coming. We all suspected, I'm sure you did as well, once the Peacock deal was up in mid-2026, they would just pick that up and bring it over to Netflix to put all the PLEs there, because around the entire universe, whether you're in France, England, Canada, all the shows, meaning Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the PLEs are on Netflix. It's only in the United States that it's cut up like this. And so once the Peacock PLE deal was done, I think we all thought they were just going to bring it over to Netflix. No. What happens? They bring it over to ESPN starting next year. So it's 10 shows, 12 events, because there's the WrestleMania two-nighter and the SummerSlam two-nighter, and they get around 325 or so million a year for that. That's unbelievable. Just for those shows, no vault, no library included. That's an incredible, incredible deal that no one saw coming. And then when I saw that, I said, okay, that just means the UFC is going back to ESPN. The UFC deal is up at the end of 2025. I felt like that was just confirmation. And then we wake up on Monday and find out, no, not only is the UFC not going back to ESPN, but we all thought as well they would split up their deal, meaning just like WWE has it among Netflix and USA and CW, just like the NBA has it on, ESPN and NBC and Prime. I thought for the first time ever, UFC would split up their deal to get the most amount of money. I thought they would get $1 billion a year in rights fees, but I thought it would be divided among 2 or 3 outlets. In the end, it's $1.1 billion a year from one outlet, Paramount, who's now the exclusive home starting in 2026 of the UFC. By the way, want to know how much they made off that deal? Their previous deal with ESPN was $550 a year. So they've gone from $550 a year to $1.1 billion a year. And then the big news for the fans is no more pay-per-view. And so they were the last ones left essentially consistently on pay-per-view, but now they're going the way of WWE, which is all those numbered shows like the one we have tomorrow in Chicago, UFC 319. That is all going to be on Paramount Plus, and they'll have approximately 4 big shows, tentpole events on CBS in addition to Paramount Plus. So it's a seismic deal. It's a massive deal, and it puts them in the top 5 category of biggest rights fees deals in the United States for all of the major sports.
So no more pay-per-views for UFC.
Starting in 2026, so there's 5 left, including tomorrow. Those are on ESPN Plus exclusively. But yeah, starting 2026, right now, the 2 tiers on Paramount Plus, $7.99 with ads, $12.99 without. I could almost guarantee you that's going to go up because they just paid a heck of a lot of money for it. But as of right now, they're touting the fact no more pay-per-view, and you could get it for either $8 or $13. The sequence of events is fascinating. We probably don't even have enough time to go through it all because, we know about the settlement with Donald Trump, the president of the United States, and CBS. Then shortly thereafter, Skydance and Paramount have this merger that finally goes through. It was hitting some roadblocks. I wonder if one has anything to do with the other. And then I wonder if the UFC's relationship with Donald Trump has anything to do with the fact that immediately after that, they announced this deal. I mean, it's almost too coincidental. And oh, by the way, one of the first things that they promote when they announce this deal is on CBS on July 4th on the White House freaking lawn on the U.S.'s 250th birthday. There's going to be a UFC event there. So it kind of all feels like one led to the other, what a time, man. What a time to be living in.
Wow.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.